Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our VectorVest YouTube channel, Trending Thursday. I am your host, Glenn E. Tompkins Jr., Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. So glad to have you here. All my new people that are here, welcome. You're going to have a lot of fun, but we're going to learn a lot about a lot of different stocks that are making news in the market. So don't be afraid to chime in. If you can hear us, and everything is coming across loud and clear, please type a VV Nation in the room. We are going to make hashtag VV Nation go viral. All right, we're going to make it happen, but that's only going to be because of you. Put it on your social media. Let people ask you, what is this VV Nation thing? Let them get on board. Invite your people, your friends in your social media circle. Share this link. You're going to be surprised at how many people are very interested in the stock market, and this could be a great place for them to learn more about what stocks are making the news and if they should buy them or possibly stay away from them. Just to let you know, we are podcastable. We are on a podcast. Go to any outlet that has podcasts, search for it, Trending Thursday, and we are podcastable. So if you're out and about and you miss the live sessions, you can go shopping and you could be listening to what's going on in the market and never miss a beat. All right, we do have a store. Look down below the video. You're going to see our VectorVest store, and we are adding more to the store almost every single day. So if there's some things in there that you like, support the channel. Go and buy some things from the store, especially the mugs. The mugs are a hot item. So if you want your own VectorVest mug, go buy it. And I'm still thinking about trying to get something etched where I can maybe sign them. What do you think, Joey? Joey says, huh?
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, Joey says nobody wants that. By the way, Joey is my producer sitting side saddle to me. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
All right, so we have the store. Take advantage of that. If you are a subscriber, you have access to everything that I show here by way of the mobile app. So on your phone, if you have a phone, everybody's got a phone, right? You can download the VectorVest mobile app on your phone to keep on top of what's going on in the market and using the power of the VectorVest software on your mobile device. We do have support for the mobile app every Thursday at 11 o'clock on Facebook. We do a Facebook Live with Patrick France. He walks you through the power of utilizing the mobile app. Social media follow. Follow me on social media. If you type in my name, Glenn Tompkins Jr., type that in the room so that people know my full name. It's 2 N's and no H in Tompkins. So Glenn Tompkins Jr. You can follow me on Twitter and you can follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of different stories in those social medias. Please follow me. Keep you update. Glenn Tompkins Jr. Actually, you got to put an at Glenn Tompkins Jr. all together. So Joey's going to do it again. It's at Glenn Tompkins Jr., whether it's on Instagram or on Twitter. Please follow me. Let me grow that base. And as I said, every so often, I will put some tidbits of information to keep you on top of what's going on. All right. So please follow me there. And today, can I get a drum roll, Joey? That's a horrible drum roll. Today in Stock Market Confessions, we have a new character to introduce to you today. His name is Professor Profit. He's going to be sitting in today for your Stock Market Confessions. I wonder if my cousin is here today. Mercedes, are you here? I'm not sure. I got a lot of people in the room. Mercedes, are you here? And if you are, Professor Profit comes to life today. Professor Profit comes to life. Oh, will you come on already? Wow, Money Team is getting on me already. Good gravy. All right, listen. This is our YouTube channel. 1, we're going to have fun. But number 2, we're going to get you into some stuff, what was going on in the market. Wow, that threw me off a little bit. What's going on in the market and what stocks to possibly take a look at. So we always start off with the market review. All right, we always got to know what's going on in the market. the direction of the market. And VectorVest is one of the only softwares that are out there that will actually time the market. And from a timing perspective, we don't guess at what direction the market is going to go. We track the trend of the market and keep our subscribers on the right side of the trend. So let's open up the home page to the VectorVest software. If you are new and you do not have the VectorVest software, Joey will put a link in the room to help you to take advantage of a trial for 30 days, all right? If you don't want to, you don't have to, but at least you'll get some good, strong information here to help you in regards to what's going on in the market. Our homepage reads just like the front page of a local newspaper, where right now we're one tick into the green overall on our market timing gauge. The advice or the guidance we give is VectorVest does advocate buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. That's what we're going to tell you. All right, if you look at our color guard, this is our bigger picture of a traffic light into the market. What's the preponderance of color you see? Still more yellow than anything. So yes, it's okay to buy stocks. Do I back the truck up? No. I've gotten a lot more yellow, which means slow down. And if nothing else, on the stocks that you currently own, at least tighten the stops. Be cautious on those stocks. But on a day like today where the market is up, then you can take advantage of some long positions, but just be careful. If we look at our quick list, all of the major indices, with the exception of the NASDAQ, are up, and NASDAQ is slightly down. The biggest mover in the indices, though, is the Dow Jones, up about 0.9%. Our VectorVest composite, which is what we use for timing the market, tracks the move of about 8,300 stocks. Today, it's up 5 cents to close up right now about 0.1%. So all of the major indices, we have a mixed market, NASDAQ slightly down, but it looks like overall it's an okay day to buy stocks. Now, we've got this information, and I've just cursorily gone over the information that's here. If you are a subscriber, we do offer you the daily color guard report on a nightly basis, which wraps up what happened in the day and prepares you for the next upcoming trading day. So we can see that it's okay to buy stocks, but still caution is advised. Let's talk about what moves markets. There's 3 things that move markets globally: earnings, interest, and inflation. Earnings are up, the market is good. Right now, earnings are still falling, and overall, we are in a case 8 bear market scenario. Yes, even with the bear market scenario, you're still saying it's okay to buy stocks. Absolutely. You're going to have bullish times to buy stocks in a bear market, but you'll also have bullish times to buy stocks, or when the market's going up in a bull market, you'll have some down times in the market as well. So all we're saying is right now, just be careful. It's okay to buy stocks even though we are in a bear market scenario, but with that information, do it cautiously. What else moves markets? Interest and inflation. When interest is low, markets are good. All right, still at historic low interest rates. Inflation is a bad thing. All right, if inflation is rising, that's going to affect the market adversely. And slowly but surely, inflation is becoming a problem, even though the Fed doesn't say that it is right now. So let's get into some of the news that is moving the market in the direction it is. And I'm going to bring up our first story today for the market overview. We're looking at Fed Esther's George seeks risks building of double dip recession. So what does that mean? So even the Fed is looking at the possibility of we may have a recession coming along, but you think that with COVID-19, that's probably in play, right? She has concerns about a double dip recession should the coronavirus see a resurgence. And so as the market or as the country started reopening again, we saw an influx or rise in coronavirus cases. So what does that mean? Well, right now, we just sit tight, hopefully with the masks or however you want to look at it. I don't do politics in here. So however you want to look at it, we need to curb the rise of the cases, get it under control. However, she says, it's too soon to speculate. Thus the reason why I'm not bringing politics in it on whether the Fed might bring more policy help. The Fed has had the spigots wide open. to make sure that the market doesn't go into a recession. So they're doing all of the things that they can by buying bonds, by buying up the debt, and doing all of the things that they can to make sure that a country stays afloat. She also expressed skepticism about allowing inflation to run hot. So what did I say? That inflation is slowly but surely becoming a problem, as some central bank officials prefer. Well, you know something? I'm a big fan of, if inflation gets too high, it costs too much money to buy things, and that's going to take money out of the economy. Another story about what's making the market move: COVID crisis drives historic drop in global trade. So everybody is getting affected by coronavirus. A lot of factories are shutting down. The output of goods and services, well, more so goods, is dropping. Trade flows collapsed in the spring despite recent signs of a rebound. A reshaping of world trade could follow pandemic. In recent years, purchasing managers' indexes have become an important indicator of where the global economy might be heading. But in the current slowdown, where small businesses were some of the hardest hit, PMI numbers may not be telling the full story. And this was a Wall Street Journal story. So some of the things behind the scenes that are moving markets globally, not just in the United States. So let's take a look at that data, apply it over to what's going on with our indicators we use for timing the market. I'm going to open the software back up. All right. And let's go to our watch list of stocks that we're going to take a look at today. And two of them are what we use for timing the market. If you're not a VectorVest subscriber, well, here's one, the SPY, or the spiders. Looking at the S&P 500, a lot of people gauge this index by how well or not so well their portfolios are doing. And if you are a VectorVest subscriber, we have that indicator, the VVC, which tracks the movement of about 8,300 stocks. Let's look at the both of them on a graph. I will right-click, view the stock graph, and here they are. So we're talking about what kind of scenario we're in. Look at the S&P 500. So we're in a case 8 bear market scenario. Inflation may be becoming an issue, but the spiders are still moving up. Why? Because, again, the Fed is putting a lot of work behind drawing the economy, keeping the economy afloat, and not pushing us to the side that we don't want to be. But slowly but surely, and I'm looking at two moving averages. The green line is a 3 exponential moving average, and the red is an 8 exponential moving average. Both moving higher, but we have an indicator at the bottom, only found in VectorVest, called RT, stands for relative timing. It is on a scale between 0 and 2, where above 1 is favorable. Above 1 tells me that the stock, or in this case, the S&P 500, is in an uptrend. All right, the higher above 1 it is, the faster in an uptrend it is. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to draw a horizontal line on the graph. All right, look at what's going on with it. It's at a value of about 1.3. I'm going to make this a little darker so that you can see it. All right, it's at a value of about 1.3 and having a hard time maintaining that level, even though the market's moving up. Now, the price movement of the stock, or in this case, the S&P 500, moves RT. Interesting that the market is moving higher, but getting the relative timing at a point where it can't break through that level or sustain level of 1.3. That is another reason to just be concerned. Don't panic. Doesn't mean, oh man, the market's going to go to hell in a handbasket. Not at all. We play the trend of the market, but we have indicators to keep us in tune as to what's truly going on, and RT is that indicator. Look at the rise of the S&P 500. Look at that indicator, RT, just flatlining right now. Today, it did break above that value of 1.3. Let's see if it's got some legs to keep moving higher. But that's the S&P 500. Again, we're not telling you not to buy stocks, but we're telling you to just be careful. Here's that VectorVest composite. Looks a lot like the S&P 500, except for in this case, the relative timing is slowly trickling down. Now, why is there such a difference between the S&P 500 and the VectorVest composite? The S&P 500 tracks 500 stocks. The VectorVest composite tracks almost 8,300 stocks. We feel that it is a better representation of broad market movement because of the sheer number of stocks it tracks. This one is, as the market or the VVC is moving higher, RT is moving down. That is still another sign of a bearish move overall. And you know something? I want to tell the guys out there, guys and gals out there, keep your head off the swivel. Use data, use useful information that's going to help you to make better decisions. Don't get caught up in the quagmire of who says what's going on, blah, 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 blah. There's 3 things that move markets. These are 2 indicators that we use for timing the market. And the one that we use that's tracking almost 8,300 stocks, as the market is moving higher, relative timing is moving lower. That is a flag. That's all it is. It is a flag and useful information to help you to make better decisions. All right, so that's the market review, market overview. Any questions, Joey? Someone told me to just hurry up and move, and I just want to make sure that he's good to go. That he's good to go. Any questions?
No.
All right, so let's close out of that. Man, that's all right. I like a person who wants to get it. Let's get it.
Discipline is key right now.
Say again?
Brad says discipline is key.
There you go. So how do you keep your discipline? You have a trading plan of knowing when to buy, what to buy, when to sell. That's your trading plan, and your discipline is to stick to those. If your timing system says it's okay to buy stocks, buy stocks. Your what to buy, depending on how you invest in the market, choose the stocks that fit you. And you're knowing when to sell. Every stock that you should be in right now should have a stop. I am telling you that this is probably a good time to tighten the stops. Don't be afraid to take the profits off the table when you get them, and limit the losses on the stocks that are going against you. Do not let them run away from you. All right, with that being said, let's get into our next story. We'll open back up. Our next story is on COVID-19. Man, COVID-19 is in the news and is just hot and heavy in the news. Everybody and their mama is trying to get a cure, actually a vaccine for COVID-19. But I've got some stocks within the space that I want you to take a look at. New study may provide insights into Novavax COVID-19 vaccine. Top analyst weighs in. So in looking at this, I read the story. The Novavax possible vaccine is getting closer and closer and closer. What are the implications of the trial? All right. We believe this phase 2B clinical trial has the potential to provide an early readout on the vaccine efficacy, along with additional safety and immunogenicity data, which ultimately could further de-risk stage. Wow, what?
Sound it out, man.
De-risk late-stage development of the 2373. In our view, this also offers optionality for an earlier emergency use authorization granted by the U.S. FDA. The FDA or the government has something in play called warp speed. This is why these stocks, these companies are coming up with a vaccine quicker than you've ever seen ever. They've gotten the okay to go through and get as close to a vaccine as possible as fast as they can. Another stock, AstraZeneca. Competitors under pressure on reports may get early nod in the U.S. for vaccine. That's it. So the government is behind. Remember the Kodak trade? The government got behind Kodak, and Kodak went woo, and then real quick it went bam. All right, and then they brought into question the funding that the government gave to them for Kodak, gave them for the vaccine. Vaccine developers are under modest pressure pre-market on results, and this was on 8/24, that the Trump administration is pushing for an early approval of a COVID vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine, potentially based on a smaller data set of 30,000 subjects. All right, the FDA normally requires a lot more testing before a drug goes out to market. AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and BioNTech have rallied modestly on the news, although AstraZeneca stated that it has no discussions with the Fed on an early nod. Sanofi is in here. There's a lot of stocks, GlaxoSmithKline, all up on that news on 8/24. Moderna is one of my favorites that I've been looking at all throughout this time. Novavax, DVAX, a lot of stocks. All of these stocks we do have in a watch list we're going to take a look at in a moment. Here's my stock that I like and I've been liking for the longest time, even though it's a tough stock to sit through. This was on 8/26 yesterday. Moderna was up 7% on positive COVID-19 vaccine data. So now we were looking at Novavax that is up on data, and now Moderna rallies, albeit on below average volume. Moderna has just been hitting the news time and time again. A lot of people are jumping on board with that Moderna stock. The vaccine administered in 2 10 microgram doses, 28 days apart, stimulated an immune response. In older adults, who are the people who are most susceptible to getting COVID-19, inducing similar antibody titers. I said that wrong last time. My wife's respiratory therapist, she said I said it wrong, so I'm not saying it again. Neutralizing antibody levels were higher than those in convalescent sera, but the specific titers were undisclosed. So no serious adverse events were reported. That's positive, but that's now, and that was in a short amount of time on a smaller group of people. And one more good news today, Abbott Labs. Abbott Labs, they surged because they came out with a story clearing 15-minute COVID-19 tests, $5. And they're going to go up in your nose. I don't think they're going to tickle your brain with this test. I think they just go around in the nose to get some wetness, and it'll give you the test results in 15 minutes, and it costs $5. Abbott Labs was rocketing this morning based on this news, but I saw a lot of profit taking on the stock. So those are my coronavirus stocks. Let's go back to my list. All right, let's go back to the list. Let's take a look at them. We were looking at, where were we looking at? Novavax, AstraZeneca, MRNA. What was my other one? Abbott Labs. Abbott Labs. Where's it? Hey, Abbott. Where's Abbott Labs? ABT. Is it not in my list? How is it not in my list? Well, it's going to be in my list now. ABT. That was my other story. All right, so let's go through this again. ABT, Novavax, AstraZeneca, mRNA. Let's analyze them real quick. So we give an intrinsic value on every stock in our database. Abbott Labs trading at 111. It's got a value of $73. For anyone who's new is going to ask me the question, how do you set up or give a value on every stock? Well, we look at things like earnings. We look at things like earnings growth rate, along with what moves the markets to assign an intrinsic value on any stock. Our mantra is to have you in safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price in a rising market. So because Abbott Labs is overvalued, it means that people are willing to pay a premium to own the stock, which is not altogether a bad thing. All right. Novavax at 108, value of 240. I like that because it is clearly undervalued. AstraZeneca trading at 56, value of 28. This stock is overvalued. And Moderna trading at 68 with a value of 1251. Even though I like this stock a lot, I know that it's a more aggressive trade in this space, where if I'm looking for more of a solid trade in this space, Novavax may be the way to go because it is clearly undervalued. Now, let's look at the indicators that are proprietary to VectorVest to help you to make better decisions as well. RV, RS, RT, VST, and CI. All of these indicators are all cast on a scale between 0 and 2. If the indicator is above the value of 1, it's favorable. If it's below the value of 1, it's unfavorable. Relative value looks at a stock's long-term price appreciation potential, its upside potential over the next 1 to 3 years. This will help me to understand whether this is a stock that I'd rather hold long or not. Abbott Labs has a relative value at 0.90. Well, it's below the value of 1, so it's unfavorable. A AAA corporate bond, which is an alternative investment, should outperform Abbott Labs over the next 1 to 3 years. But That doesn't make it that I shouldn't buy Abbott Labs. Novavax at a value of 1.62 on relative value. Nicely undervalued, good upside potential. Novavax is looking not only good from an undervalued perspective, but as a stock in the space that I don't mind holding longer term. AstraZeneca has a relative value at 0.67. Now, AstraZeneca has been around for quite some time, but it's got a relative value below 1. Not a stock that I want to hold. AstraZeneca is more of a stock that I would rather to trade. All right, Moderna, same scenario, overvalued with a relative value at 0.63. Below 1, not a stock that I want long term. Now, let's look at safety. Relative safety is an indicator of risk. It looks at the consistency and predictability of a company's financial performance. Layman's terms, does this company make money quarter over quarter, year over year? If it does, it's got a relative safety above 1 because it's not a risky stock. Stocks that continually meet or exceed earnings are stocks that are more attractive to investors. Well, Abbott Labs has got a relative safety at 1.29. So this is a safe stock, not a risky stock, even though I may not want to hold it long term. Altogether, the stock makes good. It's got a good safety. Something tells me that Abbott probably pays a dividend as well. Novavax. Now, good undervalued stock, good upside potential, but it's a little bit more of a risk with a relative safety at 0.84. AstraZeneca. It's overvalued, not long-term stock, but relative safety at 1.09, so it's favorable. And Moderna's got a relative safety at 0.89, below the value of 1. So two of the stocks are more riskier than other stocks. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. Which ones of these stocks are moving up the fastest? That's relative timing. Above 1, the stock's in an uptrend. Below 1, the stock's in a downtrend. Abbott Labs, relative timing at 1.32, definitely in an uptrend. Novavax, which is that stock that is undervalued, good upside potential, not real good safety. What's hurting it right now? Right now, the stock is in a downtrend with RT at 0.73. The stock is in a downtrend. So maybe I wait for a better buying opportunity when I can see that the stock is back in an uptrend. Now, this is important. People look at the news, man, Novavax looks good. I'm going to go buy it. Well, why not wait until the stock is back in an uptrend unless you want to be a little bit more aggressive on the trade and say, well, I'm thinking that it's going to go up because of the news. If you're going to do that, you're going to be more aggressive on the trade. Just tighten your stops just in case the stock goes against you. AstraZeneca, relative timing at 0.93. Below the value of 1, not in an uptrend right now. Same thing with Moderna at 0.74, not in an uptrend right now. Now, as much as I like Moderna, notice that it doesn't have good upside potential right now. The safety is not there. It's not going up in an uptrend right now. So what do I do at Moderna? I'm in and out of Moderna. And this kind of analysis helps me to know what stocks I can hold a little longer and which stocks I need to trade. That's what this analysis is all about. If you are not a VectorVest subscriber and you take a trial and you want to know what all of these indicators are, if you right-click on any stock, you can get a full-blown stock analysis report. Where's my stock? Oh, you probably have it out. Hold on. It'll look. Where's it at, Joey? Did you take it out already? Because I don't see it.
What is it?
The stock analysis report.
Oh, yeah. Bring it up. You just have to go to the third one and do it.
The third one?
Oh, yeah, from there.
Huh?
Did you get it from there?
I'm looking for it. Trade now with brokerages, upcoming launch, analyze options. Interesting that it doesn't have a stock analysis report. I'll work on that. But it will give a definition for each and every stock indicator that we have up in here. Let's take a look at these graphs. Let's see which ones you would want to get into right now, all right? I always look at a 3-month graph. Why? Because I want to make sure that earnings is in the picture. Why is my graph not the way? There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Here's my 3 and 8 exponential moving averages. Abbott Labs, this is a move up on news today about the $5 COVID-19 test that you can get the results back in about 15 minutes. Big gap up today, open candle. Look at the big wick on the top of the candle, a little bit of selling pressure. People woke up this morning, saw the news, and made a lot of money. A lot of people captured that profit. That some of this is profit taking. I love the relative timing is moving higher right now. It is above 1. The stock is in an uptrend. Let's go to the next one. Wow, Novavax, even though the story made the news. Remember I told you, why not wait for a better buying opportunity when RT is above 1? How about when you see RT above 1, the stock's moving higher? When RT is below 1, the stock's moving lower. I like the news, but I'd rather let the stock come to me. I'd rather buy on an up day when the 3 crosses above the 8. So the news is there. Let the stock come to you. Let's go to the next one, which is AstraZeneca. Moving sideways right now. I think, did it have an earnings play? Earnings came out on 7:30. 8, 9, 10. This earnings won't come out again until October. But a lot of sideways move on AstraZeneca right now. Does have a nice level of support sitting at $55.30. If you own it right now, that's probably a good line in the sand to say if it goes below that, you probably should consider selling it. If you own it right now, it's in a channel, leave it be. Let your stops manage the trades. But also keep in mind, RT is below 1. And the last stock, Moderna, remember I said when you get into it, this is a stock to get in and get out of. Right now, it's setting up. The 3 is currently above the 8. I really would like to see relative timing back it up. Down day to day, always think about if you're going to get into a stock that's even making the news, make sure you buy on an up day. All right, and last but not least, we do have a watch list of all of these stocks called coronavirus stocks. If I highlight it, let's see how many stocks I have in here. Altogether, 45 stocks in that space. If I want to use this to say, well, which one of these stocks have the biggest or in the biggest uptrend, I sort by relative timing. And the fastest moving one right now is Twist Bioscience, TWST, down today, but the fastest moving stock in this space, followed by MISO, which is up almost 2% today, PTSI, which is up 4% today. So I can use this watch list of stocks to help me to make a decision and hone in on knowing that this is a hot topic, which ones of these coronavirus stocks are moving on a day-over-day basis, or the ones I want to hold for the longest. You know, the vaccine is going to come out. Which one of these stocks am I more comfortable holding? Just be careful, though. You're going to hold for a while. They're good upside stocks, but you may have some problems right now. Look at these RTs below the value of 1. Now, here's one, Lakeland. It's got good upside potential, good safety, and good timing. Bingo! I just found one that I like that's up 1% today, growing their earnings at a clip of 28%. There you go. That's the power of analyzing a stock to hone in on what's best working in a space. All right. Any questions, Joey?
Bill Gray asks, please explain RS versus CI.
Question is, let's talk about relative safety versus CI. Relative safety looks at a stock's consistency and predictability of financial performance. Does the stock make money quarter over quarter, year over year? CI is a stock's ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines. All right, so this is a technical indicator, just like relative timing. Relative value and relative safety are our fundamental indicators. So when I look at CI, high CI stocks are stocks that tell me that when they go down, they're resilient enough to come back up quickly. All right, so based upon that, a lot of these stocks in this space have high CIs. Why? Because again, a lot of these stocks are making the news. So as quickly as they go down, news comes out, they go back up. That CI is showing that. But when I look at relative value, relative safety, relative timing, it will hone in on which stocks are longer-term plays and definitely which stocks are more trades. Any other questions, Joey?
That's it, buddy.
That's it. All right. Let's get back to our watch list today. Trending Thursday, 8/27. And let's go to our next news story. All right. Let's go to our next news story. The next on the list is gold. All right, what moves gold? Do you guys know what moves gold? What is it that moves gold? Anybody? I'm just curious to say. Gold is a safe haven for when something happens. Hopefully somebody will type in the room from the perspective of what moves gold. All right, give a couple of seconds. I know we have a delay. Is anybody typing in anything?
Jake says, this stuff really works.
Thank you, Jay.
And
Nobody said.
Mitch says inflation.
Inflation is one of them. All right. My thing is, it's the dollar. All right. When the dollar is weak, gold tends to go up. When the dollar is strong, gold tends to go down. Now, here's the story. It says gold still shines bright. Gold prices hit new highs earlier this month, propelled by record low interest rates. Aha! All right, interest and inflation in many regions. Inflation worries, so good answer in regards to inflation and mounting government debt. There's a lot of money going out there. There's a lot of dollars out there circulating in the economy. PIMCO's valuation model indicates gold remains attractively valued. Even at these levels. The key risk is that real interest rates rise. I don't see interest rates rising anytime soon. Soon as that happens, that will help to bring down the economy. And I don't think the Fed wants to be sitting in the chair when they're trying to say, well, we got to raise interest rates just quite yet, making gold relatively less attractive. Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about what's going on with gold. And we've got a lot of symbols here to go after gold. I've got some of my own. Let's go back into the software and go to our watch list. From a gold perspective, I'm going to look at AXU. I'm going to look at the Huey, the Gold Bugs Index. I'm also going to look at another hot stock, KNTNF, K92 Mining. I'm going to look at Eldorado Gold, and I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need one more, the dollar. All right, there's the UUP. All right, so KNTF, undervalued, good upside potential, relative safety at 1. Timing is above 1. This is probably a good hot stock in the gold space. I do like undervalued, good upside potential. The safety is but the stock is moving up. CI, nice high CI, growing their earnings at a clip of 33% a year. I like it. Alexo, 280, undervalued, relative value at 1.56, good long-term play. Giving up a little safety to buy this. You're looking for a good pop, willing to give up a little safety to get into it, and relative timing at 1.51. Stocks in an uptrend, growing their earnings at a clip of 34%. Eldorado Gold, undervalued, good upside potential. Safety is not there, but you know something? I'm willing to give up a little safety for a big pop in the stock. RT above at 1.32, nice earnings growth rate. The Huey, I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to come back to the dollar. Let's go right-click on these stocks. Let's see which ones are the best play. Let's see which ones are the best play. Looking at a 3-month graph. Look at AXU. I like the information on it, but look at the graph. The graph is worth 1,000 words, all right? It tells a story. I've got notes on my graph. In this case, I am really waiting for the 3 to cross above the 8, which it did today, bouncing off support. I like that it was bouncing off support. The 3 and the 8 cross, I've got good upside, at least to that level of the high of $3.50. It's trading at 280. I like that. Relative timing is starting to rise again. AXU looks like a good play in that space. The Huey, I'm going to come back to that in a second. KNTNF. Possibly a go. Look at that nice level of support. I'm not going to call that a hammer formation. It's moving up. Nice little level of support. The 3 and the 8 cross. Little indecision today. Look at the high relative timing. The stock is definitely in an uptrend. Overall, for the last 3 months, the stock is trending higher. I would definitely wait to make sure that I'm going higher than today's high before I pull the trigger. But that's not a bad stock to look at in this space. Eldorado Gold, on the other hand, not so good. The other 2 stocks were moving higher. Eldorado Gold definitely has a downtrend from the high. Connecting the highs, the stock is currently in a downtrend. And this is why, even though you look at a space, look at the stocks that are the leaders in the space, not the laggards. EGO, Eldorado Gold is more of a laggard in the gold space right now. And let's take a look at the dollar. What's the dollar doing? Well, I've got a level of resistance on UUP at about $25.33. All right, $25.33. As long as it stays below that level, that's probably a good time to still be manageable in gold. Notice that over the last month or so, it's had a hard time breaking above that level and staying above that level. I'm saying that as long as the dollar, or the UUP, which I'm using to track the dollar, stays below the value of $25.33, gold is manageable. Once the dollar breaks above that level, then the dollar starts moving up, gold is going to start moving down. So I would use this UUP level as a way to manage your gold stocks. If it breaks up and it has consistency, and if it's got confirmation of breakthrough, that's probably a good time to get out of your gold trades. Now, something else. Let's go look at the HUI, the gold bugs. You'll see something setting up here. I'm probably going to take off this line. Notice that on the HUI, I've got a definite level of support sitting at 322.04. I've got a lower trending highs coming off of the high. And you know what this causes? This causes something called a wedge. What I'm looking for in a wedge, though, it is a consolidation pattern. I'm looking for the Huey to really break out of this wedge to the upside to really confirm that it's okay to buy gold. So I'm looking at two different perspectives here. I'm looking at the dollar, seeing that the dollar stays below the level of that resistance that I talked about. But I'm also looking at the gold bugs, which is in a consolidation pattern right now to break one way or the other to help even reconfirm when it's the right time to get in gold. Put those two things together, you'll be able to pinpoint the exact time it is okay to buy gold, buying low, and be able to get out. So hopefully for those of you who are not subscribers to the channel, that makes sense to you. And here's my ideal entry if we break above, but we do need to stay above this level of about 319.56 for the gold bugs. Right now, between the HUI and the dollar, gold is manageable right now. But if I'm looking for more of a breakthrough, look at the HUI and look at the UUP to help you manage or get in at the right time. Any questions, Joey? I hate these awkward silences. I'm going to tell a joke.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have just stopped like you did.
Wow, what am I supposed to do? So a horse goes into a bar. The bartender says, "Why such a long face?" Boom, boom. All right.
I'll see yourself out.
I'll see myself out. Okay.
No questions.
No questions. All right. I'm hoping that this information is usable information to help you to make a good decision on timing when it's okay to get into gold. All right. So let's close out of that graph. Let's get into my next story. My next story is actually coming up on my stocks of interest. All right. So every week I find stocks that catch my interest. And this week, Salesforce was one of them. Salesforce price targets raised after a monster beat and raise. Shares up 15% pre-market. That was yesterday. All right. Canaccord Genuity raises Salesforce price target by $70 to $270, saying that there are a few better positioned to help with customer-facing efforts than Salesforce. Do we have Salesforce here? I think we do, don't we? Did we? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do as part of our CRM in our product support department. That's a big beat on it. The firm notes CRM's valuation is comparatively attractive in an inexpensive space. So a lot of people have a lot of insight looking at Morgan Stanley, looking at Jefferies, have their insight on what they think is going on with Salesforce. We're going to use the VectorVest software to help us out with that. Another company that caught my attention, American Airlines. The pandemic is hurting these airlines. American Airlines set to cut 19,000 jobs when the federal aid expires in October. That's going to so suck. Well, with China slowly but surely open up the country, more people are trying to fly. I've seen videos or pictures on Facebook that show full planes, some that show empty planes, but people are trying to fly, but not enough to sustain the industry or sustain the airlines. And with that, that's a lot of people going to be out of work, and they're going to be looking for what? Unemployment. All right, and the carrier expects its fourth quarter capacity to be half of the year-ago levels with travel demand still down. Airlines have pushed for an extension of the $25 billion in federal payroll aid to avoid furloughs. But man, American Airlines will have 40,000 fewer employees on October 1st. That is wow. All right, so let's go take a look at that company. How many of you got children or grandchildren? I'm really looking forward to this movie, the movie of Mulan. I've seen the cartoon, but the movie, the cinematic movie is coming out, and Apple, Google, and Roku join as distribution partners for Mulan. Now, something is missing. All right, Disney's, well, hold on. Where is my one that was, there we go. Notably absent from the usual streaming partners was Amazon. All right, that suggests that viewers will be able to use in-app purchases on those additional platforms without the complicated workaround through Disney+. All right, so I have Disney, I have Amazon, I don't have Roku. I do have Roku, and I've got Hulu. Damn, I got it all. And I still have cable. Even with all of that, I still got cable. All right, but that's big news. I'm wondering, because the movie houses, does that make me old because I say movie house? The movie houses are starting to open back up. But, if they did not, a lot of these movies that are set to come out were going straight to stream, and movie houses wasn't liking that too tough. But what else are you going to do? If you want to get the movie out and you want people to see it, you got to put it out. And I'm thinking that in order to get the movie, though, it's $30. I'd rather go to the movies and spend $15, but after you get the movie and you get popcorn and you get drink and all that, you're spending about $60. Maybe it's cheaper to just watch it at home on the stream. I don't know. But that's cool. That's big. So I will be looking at Roku. I will be looking at Apple. There's no way in the world I won't be looking at Apple. I got to look at Apple. And a couple of last things. Oil prices. I haven't had this as a story, but U.S. oil prices hold ground at the highest since March as Hurricane Laura curtails Gulf output. I've been watching the news about the Hurricane Laura, man. I'm praying for the people that are in the affected areas. That is a horrible hurricane that's coming through, but a lot of these oil companies are in the Gulf Coast, right? And oil is going to be affected. Now, this will do what? It will increase demand. If the output is being curtailed, it's going to increase the demand. So oil may be setting up as a buy, and it all depends on how much damage Laura does to the oil companies in this region. All right, so this could be setting up, it's a harsh thing to say that it's gonna increase on somebody's demise, on the bad stuff that's going on. But unfortunately, it's the reality of what's going on, and it could be setting up. And last but not least, we talked about, or we didn't, Zoom had some issues this week, right? Zoom says service restored after the U.S. users hit by a partial outage. You're thinking that with all of the kids going back to school, your kids doing Zoom, or they're doing something else? Joey's got 40 kids, all right? And I know Shallon's going to watch this and be like, what? And he's got 3 kids, and they're all going to school by way of Zoom. My grandbabies are going to school by way of Zoom. And you think that when schools opened up, they were going to be prepared for it. But, man, that was a partial outage that affected that stock super duperly adversely. So that was a stock that made the news. Let's go take a look at these stocks. Let's open up the software. Salesforce was in there, Apple, Roku, American Airlines was in here, AAL, oil was in here. And I'm going to bring up another stock. It's not in here. Just leave it alone the way it is. So here's my stocks, or my stocks of interest. CRM, wow, way overvalued. That's Salesforce. Even though it had a nice earnings beat, way overvalued. Upside potential, be careful with it. Long term, I may not like it, but something tells me with relative safety at 1.48 that the stock most likely pays a dividend. And actually, it does not. It does not. So positive upbeat earnings probably has consistently met or exceeded its earnings expectations. Relative value, upside potential, not nearly as strong, but relative safety at 1.48 stock is relatively safe, and it's moving up in price right now, growing their earnings at a clip of 14% a year. Apple, wow. As much as I love Apple, the stock is grossly overvalued, all right? Now, another reason why I have Apple in the fray is because the split happens in a few days, on 4 days, on 8/31, the stock split. This is going to give a lot of people a lot more opportunity to buy into a stock like Apple. Upside potential is there at 1.17 on relative value, relative safety at 1.4. Good safe stock going up in price, growing their earnings at a clip of 13%. Roku, on the other hand, grossly overvalued, trading at 160, value of $12. Another thing about Roku, they have negative earnings growth rate. Roku is not a stock that I really like to buy, but on news-driven stuff like this, I may take a crack at it, but not a stock that I really would like to hold long-term. The fundamentals on the stock between relative value and relative safety are not there, but the news is driving the stock's price higher with a relative timing at 1.52. Negative earnings growth rate. Roku is not a great stock to take advantage of, even though it made the news. American Airlines, grossly overvalued, upside potential not there. 0.06 on relative value, 0.84 on relative safety, not a safe stock. 0.59 on relative timing, not going up. Negative earnings growth rate. The laying off of the people is probably trying to upgrade the bottom line, to try to keep them as far away in the red as possible. They don't want to be too far in the red. They're going to probably be in the red, but this is probably going to help to keep them outside of being fully born in the red. And my oil stock that I always look at is W&T Offshore. Right now, not a good time still. The only stock in my list that keeps bouncing between a hold and a sell. All right, so let's take a look at them on a stock graph. All right, CRM, good beat. All right, stock on the good beat. Look at the earnings. Where's my earnings? Why my earnings didn't pop up? Good beat on earnings. Beware of some profit taking. There's my earnings. Beware of profit taking. So I've got the note on here. And the stock pulled back just a little bit after the earnings play. Just be careful about that. It's going a little bit parabolic. Love the relative timing, pulling back today. The 3 and the 8 look good, and the 3 and the 8 look good going into the earnings play. Man, jumped up. If you were in it before the gap up, you're sitting pretty. Let's go to the next one. Apple. I can't ever say anything pretty much bad about Apple. Look at the graph over the last 3 months. Definitely moving higher. Love Apple. Today is a down day. Probably wouldn't pull the trigger on it. Notice that the stock is moving sideways right now. RT is moving lower. That makes sense as the stock is moving sideways. But from price action, the 3 and the 8 still look good on the stock. Next one, Roku. The news comes out about the stream about Mulan. Look at the stock. All right, just look at the stock. And I want to look at earnings. Earnings is negative. The stock's moving sideways. I could play the bounces or retracements off support and resistance to try to make some money on it. This is more of a technical play than anything. All right, looking at the 3 and the 8, getting to that level of resistance, taking the trade off the table, playing it to the downside, bouncing off support, This is more of a technical play more so than anything else. Going up to American Airlines, the stock has just been in a big demise. I'm definitely bearish on AAL right now, even though it's trying to do a little rebound. But the news on trying to cut all of the employees is going to try to keep it in the black more so than the red. WTI. Now, getting ready, keep your eye on oil. All right, if the output of oil in the Gulf gets shut down a little bit, oil may bounce off of this level of support. WTI may bounce off of $2.18. Look at right now, it's bearish. The 3 is below the 8. I'm looking at this level of 218. If this level can hold and the news comes out that Laura Hurricane Laura has affected the oil output. I'm definitely looking to see if WTI can get above the value of $2.60. That would be a good early buy, still being able to buy low and sell high. All right, nice level of support. Let's see if it can break through. It could be setting up. I do like that it's approaching a level of support. Just get ready. Not ready to pull the trigger on it just quite yet. All right, any questions on my stocks of interest, Joey?
No questions, just some comments.
What kind of comments? Nobody's asking questions today.
No, they said the movies are way too expensive. Usually don't eat or drink at the movies.
It's tough to go to the movies nowadays, isn't it? I know, it's a lot of money. Huh?
Dave says he likes taking sunflower seeds and Hershey bars.
Wow, he takes your own sunflower seeds and Hershey bars. You take bottled water too?
He does.
Okay, there you go. All
He said.
right, no, I listen. I'm with you. You got to do what you got to do to get into a movie and watch it and make it well worth it. Any other questions, Joey?
Nope. That's it.
All right. So with all of that being said, if you like the content, especially if you do, if you like the content that we've gone through today, please subscribe to the channel. I'm looking at a lot of people right now. I've got more unsubscribers than subscribers to the channel. If you like the content, by all means, please subscribe to the channel. We're up to over 18,000 subscribers. We've done that in about a year and a half. Something like that. You guys have been amazing supporting the channel, but don't be afraid to look down below, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. Hit the bell icon if you want to be alerted to all upcoming content as well. And again, with all of the chatter, I don't see the chat. Joey takes away the chat so I can stay on point. He looks at the chat for me. We got a lot of people in here, and we're blessed to have the people in there. Don't get me wrong. So keep it going, but subscribe to the channel, support the channel. How many likes do we have today? 70 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 150 likes. Let's see. If you really like what's saying. Now, if you don't like it, that's fine. That doesn't hurt me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I know that my way of doing things may not appeal to everybody, and I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that. But I love doing what I do. I love to have fun doing it. But, I want to make sure that you're getting some value out of being here, that it's not a waste of your time. So let's see what we can do to raise the likes up. But more so, I need you guys to support the channel by subscribing to the channel. And another thing, after the videos go out, comment on the videos. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. I see a lot of stocks come up that you want me to take a look at. That's fine. I see a lot of comments. Don't be afraid to put comments in there that you put, and I do the best that I can to personally answer your comments. I do what I can to personally answer your comments. So don't be afraid. Once these videos get released, put a question, put a comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you'd like to see. All right, tell me what you'd like to see going forward as well. All right.
So Mark Lewis says, can you comment on the hot stocks?
Can I comment on the hot stocks? You're talking about the ones that...
He's talking about the panel.
The hot stock panel is on Monday. We're talking about 7 hot stocks to swing trade. Me, Jerry D'Ambrosio, and Dr. David Paul from the UK will be sitting on a panel, and we'll give you 7 stocks for swing trading on Monday. So that's another hot thing that we do here on top of Trending Thursday is those stock panels. So by all means, please stop by. It's going to be Monday at 1 p.m. I think it's at 1 p.m.
12?
Or 12 p.m. Gosh, you should supposed to know. I don't know. It's either at 12 or 1. But if you subscribe to the channel, you can find out for sure. If you subscribe to the channel, you can find out for sure.
Kay says, VectorVest seems too cautious. Market up, yet a lot of caution.
Oh, good question. I like that. So Kay says that that VectorVest talks about a lot of caution, even though the market is up. All right, let me go back to the market timing graph real quick. This is why we feel the caution is there. Let's go take off the MTI. I'm going to put on the RT. Remember this indicator RT, which tells us if the market is in an uptrend or not? This, my friends, is a very smart indicator. Let's put it on the area graph. When the market is moving up, I'll tell you what I'd like to see. When the market is moving up, I want to see RT moving up. That gives me some confirmation behind the up move. Now, if I bring this to more K into what's going on right now, the market's moving up. What's RT doing? And without VectorVest, you don't get this kind of insight. So yeah, we are cautious, but notice, we've never told anybody to panic. We've never told anybody not to buy stocks. This indicator in and of itself is a smart enough indicator to at least give you the red flags to be cautious. K, does that make sense? And you know something? I want to ask that question to anybody out there. Does having this indicator make sense? I am not bucking that the market is rising. Absolutely. I am with you 110%. It absolutely is. But this is a smart indicator that's telling you, be careful. Be careful is a lot different than, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, sell all of your stocks. There's a difference. So did anybody answer that it makes sense?
I'm not sure. Hot stocks is at noon, though.
Hot stocks is at noon. All right, that's all that I'm saying, Kay, and that's a great question. That is a great question, but all we're saying is the red flags are being raised, and with those flags, you have the ability to be aware of what's going on. All right?
He says you better make sense. Let's see. Bill says show the date. Sometimes I'm not sure this is today's.
Show the date that this is today's data. Let me go put on the date line. Here it is, 8/27 of 2020. That's today's data on the VectorVest composite. So, no matter where I click in the graph, I can see the date at the bottom, and today's date is 8/27. We've got a doji going on today. And Kay, when the market does pull back and a lot of people get blindsided by it, you're going to be happy that as a VectorVest subscriber, we were just telling you to be careful. All right? I am telling you that you're going to be happy when that happens because you were prepared for it. Nothing more, nothing less. We want to prepare you, not scare you. There's a difference between prepare and scare. All right? Any other questions, Joey?
No.
All right. So, everybody, let me go outside. I'm going to get our new character. We're going to do a stock market confession. I'm going to go get our new character. His name is Professor Profit. He's right outside. I'm going to go get him. I'm going to bring him in, and he's going to do your stock market confession. So, hold on as Joey gets us prepared. All right, and he's going to play a little music in the background to get us prepared as well as I go out to get Professor Profit. Hey, Joey, go get him for me. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Professor Profit. I have a PhD in deductive reasoning. So I'm glad to be here, smoking on my pipe. And as Glenn has so graciously introduced me, I am glad to be here. Now, you may ask, where am I from? Well, I'm from all over the world. Where is my accent from? Oh, it's from all over the world. I've got many stories to talk about, but I'm going to have the ability, through my deductive reasoning, to look at your stock market confession. All right, now, this week, the stock market confession is the dismayed trade. And it looks at the stock Novavax, NVAX. That was a little blunder there, but that's okay. I can fully grasp the situation. So the current situation is I bought 29 shares of Novavax at $58 on 5/20 of 2020. Very interesting. Why I thought it was a good trade? Well, multiple news outlets reported the stock was working on a COVID vaccine. That's been a lot of the news. I've seen that Glenn has given that news story over and over, and it makes sense to take advantage of a stock that's taking advantage of the news. Everybody's looking for this. And as old as I am, I'm concerned as well, so I'm just staying and keeping my course. His confession is the stock dropped $8. Whoa! By golly gee. The stock dropped $8. He panicked and sold. Very interesting. The stock now sells for $143. So the situation is, you bought the stock at $58. I remember when my Aunt Sally used to say, you want to buy low and sell high. She got run over by a cow. But that's okay, that's another story. So the whole idea was, you thought you were buying low and you wanted to sell high. But the stock fell like a rock. I had another uncle that dropped a rock from the Empire State Building. Made a hole in the ground. Okay. So it's sort of like dropped like a rock like that. Holy smokes, let me tell you something. This character is hot as hell. It's sweating in here. All right. So what do you do now? The stock dropped, you panicked, you sold. Now sells for $143. Let's take a look at it. So Joey's helping me out here. Glenn always has Joey, so we'll see if Joey can help me out as well as he does for Glenn. Let's go look at this stock. Okay. As I continue to smoke my pipe with nothing in it. It's very interesting. I never knew smoking a pipe with nothing in it could be such a blast. But can I use it now?
Yep.
All right, let's go take a look at the stock. Novavax. NVAX. I happen to be a splendid scholar on the American language. So if you have any questions, let me know. Novavax. We'll hit enter. And the date of the trade was 5/20 of 2020. Let's go put... You're probably wondering, if I'm so new, how do I know how to use the software? I learned how to use the software through osmosis. All right, let's go find 5/20 of 2020. There we go. Let's zoom in. So it hit the news. The stock was going up. And then all of a sudden, it fell. So you panicked. The stock fell and it panicked. So let's talk about a couple of things here. Let me look at the trade, look at the trade. Let's do some analysis. All right. I've got my information now for you. So the first thing is a stock being in the drug biomedical field, you always have to know that it's going to be more of an aggressive, volatile stock. That needs to be taken into consideration before you pull the trigger on the trade. Now, if you're in a volatile stock that happens to be moving up or moving down, as quickly as it can move up is as quickly as it can move down. You have to allow for the volatility of the stock to play into the trade. If you're not able to do that, then that's probably a stock that you don't want. But with that being said, no matter what moving averages you want to use something to help you monitor what is going on with the trade. Now, in this case, it dropped $8. Well, let's add something to the graph on that day. I'm going to go to Add Parameter, and I'm going to go down to Technical Analysis, and I'm going to look at the average true range. Now, if I look at the average true range on that date of May 20th, the average true range, and let's go down to 10 days, the average true range on that day was what? Holy smokes, holy Toledo, $7.91. The stock was already trending in a range of about $8. So keeping that in mind, that was well within the realm of the natural trading of the stock, and keeping that in mind would have kept you in the stock longer. Think about that. But if you look at the average true range and you say, oh, man, that's too much, then that's not a stock for you. Notice also, as the 3 and the 8 started moving sideways, the stock moved sideways, create a level of support or a line in the sand during this time. Let's go from the freehand line, draw a horizontal line, and look at this. Holy smokes. I remember back in the day when my Aunt Sally used to make me pancakes. They were pretty flat. Well, that's the same thing that's going on right here. The stock was pretty flat. Let me highlight that a little bit more as I smoke my pipe with nothing in it. And there it is. That's a beautiful level of support. That could be your line in the sand. That gives you more opportunity to trade the stock without panicking. Again, I've got a doctorate in deductive reasoning. All right. So as the stock moves sideways, it never broke below your line in the sand. You might have been sweating bullets. Well, if you're sweating bullets, that ain't the stock for you, right? Remember, we talked about that. But if you're going to give this more volatile stock a little bit more room, set some boundaries, and that's what this line in the sand is all about. All right. And what did it do? Holy smokes, it made a move, baby. It was rocking and rolling just like the Beatles back in my heyday. Yeah, I met them. I did. Peter, Paul, John, Ringo, good friends of mine. They came over for tea and crumpets one time. They sang a couple of songs. We laughed, we cried, and we went on our merry way. All right, so smoking my pipe with nothing in it. As the stock's price went higher, now you have to make a decision about being greedy or not. The stock's price went from $58. Let's click here. Whoops. Let's click here on the Dateline. Stock's price now trading at $64 on 6/19 and ripping and running. Now, how do you keep yourself from being greedy? Well, use those moving averages. If they're still moving higher, let the stock be. When would you have gotten out? When the 3 crossed below the 8, which would have occurred on 8/11, where the stock's price closed at 149. Would that have been a good opportunity to not give all of this back? Absolutely. Where's the stock trading now? 108. Still would have been higher than where you were before. But this is the way to manage a trade that is aggressive and very volatile. Set boundaries from the beginning. If you can't deal with something like a high average true range on the stock, you leave it alone. Or that is your boundary, is that average true range, and that'll help you. So with that, folks, that is my first stock market confession as Professor Profit. Hopefully it made sense. And remember, I've got a degree in deductive reasoning. All right, so with that, Glenn has given me the opportunity to go through and do the quick fire of your stocks today, and I'm thankful for that. And I will do, as Professor Profit, the quick fire of your stocks today. So this is a time where I want you to type them into the room. Well, he did something in his stuff. Where's that? Oh.
Maurice wants to know, please explain the true
do this as Professor Profit. I like that. So the average true range is the range of the stock. So you know something? This is a better way of doing it. Without me trying to explain it, I want you to go out to a website called Investopedia.com. Investopedia.com. It's a great website. All right, and from here, let's go look for ATR, for average true range. And the average true range definition. Ta-da! The average true range is a technical analysis indicator that measures market volatility. So with that volatile stock, looking at something like the average true range was right in line with what you needed to set the boundaries on that stock so that you wouldn't have been spooked out of it. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. If ever you have questions about a technical indicator, this is an outstanding site to look at. I wrote a lot of it because I am a doctorate of deductive reasoning. All right, so with that, by the way, Joey, I'm just curious to know how many people are feeling Professor Profit. Is anybody disliking him? Oh, I don't know. I can go home and tell my wife. She doesn't like me either. But just curious to know, are you getting any feedback on Professor Profit?
It's 50-50.
It's 50-50. I'll take that. That's okay. All right. Tell you what we'll do. Let's take a look at your stocks. And give me the chat.
RMD.
Okay. Here we go.
BLL.
BLL.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
DG.
Mm-hmm. Dollar General.
CVAC.
CBAC. Okay.
Gush.
GUSH.
WM.
WM.
Amazon.
AMZN.
HON.
Honeywell. Okay.
SHLL.
SHLL.
4 S's.
SSSS.
ABBV.
Okay.
Tesla. NIO.
NEO. Almost made the books today as a story.
And TAL. No.
TAL. I spelled it wrong. Okay.
KRNT.
KRNT.
And ZNGA.
Zynga.
No.
All right. So just like Glenn, I like looking at a 3-month graph on a stock. Wow, I like BLL. That is a good-looking trade. Definitely moving higher over the last 3 months, hitting a new high today. Very little wick at the top. Relative timing is really starting to rock and roll. I do like that, and it's in the container metal glass. I'd probably take a look at that industry as a whole to make sure that the industry is rising and that this is a leader in that industry. But overall, I like that stock. Now, Dollar General, my wife and I travel a lot, and it seems like everywhere we go, there's a Dollar General on every store corner. Holy smokes. So as this is moving up, a lot of red days, just keep that in mind. Big red day today. I don't know what the news was on it. RT is above 1, so slightly the stock is moving higher. But today, a big down day after a big up day yesterday. Just be careful with the stock. The 3 and the 8 are still looking good on the stock overall. Leave it alone if you're in it. If you're not in it, make sure that you buy on a rising day. CVAC is a new stock. Something tells me that if it's in the drug biomedical field, it's probably jumping on board in the COVID. That's what I would think. But man, this stock is really getting hit like it's falling like a box of rocks. Wow. So just be careful. I don't like it as a possibility right now. The 3 and the 8 are bearish. RT looks like a heartbeat picture on a monitor. It's up, it's down. be careful with this stock. This is an aggressive stock. It's at $57. Just be careful with that stock. Next stock, Gush. So as we look at oil, as I mentioned, I'm not ready to pull the trigger on oil yet. Let's see if what happens with Hurricane Laura, if that can create demand. All right, and if it does, it will move. It will move, even if it's for a short amount of time, but it will move, and we'll see. Remember, as Glenn always says, demand drives oil. That's happened here. That happens in my country. I won't tell you what country because I belong to very many countries. So no matter where you are, demand drives oil. Let's go to the next one. WM Waste Management moving higher. Watch the wicks, big wicks for the last couple of days. A little bit of selling pressure, definitely hitting a new 3-month high. Relative timing is rising. Not a bad trade. Just be careful. Make sure that you're buying higher. The wicks are showing some bearish pressure with the big wicks at the top. Just be careful with that. If you own it, leave it alone, though. Amazon. Man, so Amazon was not in the story for the stream for Mulan. But Amazon says, forget that. I don't need no stinking Mulan. We're doing good on our own. Down day to day, but beautiful looking equity curve. RT is starting to pick back up again. Just if I'm not in it, make sure you buy it on a rising day. So overall, Amazon does not look bad at all. Let's go to the next stock, Honeywell. Honeywell just recently broke through a level of resistance and had follow through, but with the big wicks, it looks like it's trying to challenge that level of now support. The 3 and the 8 still look good. RT is rising. Just looks like the bears are trying to push it down and the bulls are going, So I like the close above resistance, follow through. I'd make sure I'm buying higher than today's high before I pull the trigger. Shell, Tortoise acquisition, I'm assuming. Diversified companies. This is a very interesting looking stock. No movement back here, very little movement here. Interesting that it's moving higher, but there's no consistency in the trade. This looks like a lot of, how would I say, short-term playing. Short-term playing on the stock. It looks like the short-term run is running out on the stock right now. This looks like a lot of a trade. Relative safety is below 1. Relative value is probably below 1. Relative timing is moving up because it seems like whatever moves it does move it, but then it pulls back down. I wouldn't want to be in it right now as it's pulling back from that high. As we look at Sutter Rock, a lot of sideways move here. I can continue this if I look at drawing a horizontal line. Look at that. The stock is definitely in a channel. If I'm in it, leave it alone. I would use the 3 and the 8 as a means to get out of the stock at the right time. It bounced off support like the move with the 3 and the 8. But where did it stop? Right at resistance, folks. This is why we always look to see if a stock is breaking through resistance or falling through support. It gives more confirmation to the trade. All right, so let's go to the next stock, ABBV, also in a channel. The 3 and the 8 just recently closed. It didn't fall all the way back down to that level of support. It's trying to move up higher. That's a good positive because now coming off of the low, we do have higher lows, all right, which is a positive sign coming off of the low. We do have higher lows, but also creating what? Another level of a wedge. Look at that. Moving sideways. So that is a ascending wedge, though, which is still a level of looking at consolidation. The 3 and the 8 cross. Let's see if it can break above that level of resistance. And let's get RT back above 1. Tesla. Woo. Tesla looks good. It had a little bit of a sideways move here, but RT is rising. Stock is hitting new highs, a new 3-month high. Nice, steady 45-degree angle on the stock. I'm liking that. Just make sure you buy higher than the high. Make sure you're buying into a rising stock. NIO, this is in the electric vehicle field, but in China. It's trying to give Tesla a run for the money. All right, nice. So we just looked at Tesla, and here's NIO right behind it. It's running up a little bit of a down day today. RT pulled back, but both graphs look nice. Tesla looks a little nicer. No, actually, they look pretty much the same, except for NIO is a lot less expensive. How about that? Keep that in mind. All right, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I need something in my pipe to smoke, but I ain't got it. All right, so let's go to the next stock. Tal Education was on a tear back here. Right now it's leveling off. It's got a level of a zone of support here, sitting at about the value of $70.11. A little bit of another level of support that I can see right here, sitting at a value of about $72.30. A good level of support within a level of support. Sideways move. If you own it, you got to look at these 3 8s as a way to get out and wait for the 3 8s to cross again. But not only that, look at relative timing. All right, just keep that in mind. KRNT, Cornet Digital. I like the stock, but I don't like the RT. This is a smart indicator, folks, that's only found in the VectorVest software. It's moving up, but RT is moving down. It is just a means to let you know to be careful. Be careful. A down day today. It's moving. The 3 8 still look good. If you're in it, use the price action of the 3 8 to help you to make a decision. And last but not least, we have Zynga. Zynga's in a big freaking channel. Can I say that in America? Okay. I can't say that in London and all my other countries I belong to. But anyway, stock is pulling down. A great opportunity would have been to get out when the 3 8 first crossed right about here most recently. That would have kept you from getting caught up in all of this downward move. Even though it bounced, it came back up and it's still down. So, and that's that. All right, so Joey, thank you for giving me an opportunity to be here as Professor Profit to look at these stocks. And does anybody have anything they want to say to Professor Profit? If not, that's fine. I'm new.
They just want more stocks analyzed.
They want more. I can't do that. It's almost 3:30 American time. So we can try, we try to do stocks on the fly. Glenn normally does it. He gave me the opportunity to do it today in my hat and my pipe. And but next week we'll have another week. So with that, folks, anything else, Joey?
Leo says, Glenn, you made me a lot of money on Jockey Club this morning.
Glenn's not here. This is Professor Profit. I'll tell Glenn when he comes back in. Say again?
I encourage everyone to sign up for the Jockey Club.
Well, that's an actual VectorVest subscriber that Glenn helps out in the Jockey Club in our trading room. And that's not Glenn paying for that advertisement. That's from an actual subscriber. So there you go. That's what it's all about. Before we sign off, Joey, is there anything else that I need to do to help Glenn out? No? All right, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Glenn will be back next week. Professor Profit may or may not be back next week. It all depends on what. Give some comments. Give us some comments to let us know what you think about Professor Profit. If we like him, we'll keep him. If not, well, I guess they're going to send me back off to Africa and Zimbabwe and London and everywhere I belong. I belong to everybody. So with that, folks, have a great day as we sign off. See you, folks.